Hi, good morning, members. Just to alert you that the chair will be joining soon. He's just having challenges in joining the platform. Thanks.
Hi,
Hi, good morning, Chair. Chair, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Chair, shall I do the roll call, Chair?
Yes, do you want people to show their face or you want people to
They can just
confirm?
acknowledge, Chair. Sometimes the bandwidth is a problem if they can't do both, Chair. I'll call out the
Okay.
names. Mr.
Okay.
Kigaba? Mr. Kigaba was on the platform, Chair. Mr. Thring?
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, colleagues.
Mr. Chance? Your audio is off, Mr. Chance.
Good morning, everybody. You can see my face on the screen and here's my voice. I'll switch off the video now.
Mr. Cesane?
I'm present in the meeting. Thank you very much, Secretary.
Ms. Siate?
I'm in, Chair. Thank you.
Ms. Zuma Sambudla?
Recording in progress.
Present, I'm here.
Mr. Mdudley?
I'm here, present.
Mr. Mkutu?
Present.
And Mr. Kigaba?
Yes, I'm sorry earlier. I was trying to connect my video, but you can see I'm here.
No, Chair, we correct. And with yourself, we have 9 members present in today's meeting, Chair. Shall I ask Margaret to the agenda item, Chair?
I'm also present. Thank you.
Yeah. Chair, we have the agenda. Chair, shall I indicate the apologies, Chair? We have an apology from Mr. Beasley and Ms. Webster, Chair.
Thank you very much. Apologies accepted. What is the clarity with the EFF? Because you said something yesterday, so it's on record, and then we only spoke about it after the meeting.
Chair,
Who's the new person?
No problem.
Inform.
Yeah, Chair, the new name, the EFF has changed its membership to the committee. They've appointed Mr. Tambo to the committee. Mr. Tambo is part of our communication with emails, Chair. So you've received all communication regarding the meetings, Chair. So he is the full member for the EFF going forward, Chair.
When did this happen? So apologies, and we also mark those absent, because as long as we communicate,
yes, Chair.
Absent.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll check the minutes with regards to that. Thank you very much. And then who's going to be leading the discussion? Is it Mark?
I will lead the presentation, Chair, with the input from parties. Chair, we need to adopt the agenda. Mr. Chance raised his hands, Chair.
Yes,
Mr.
thank
Chance?
you. If I may just, another point of order. I see that Mr. Zibi is still listed as a member of this committee. Is that correct, or has he resigned? Because he seems to be full-time as the chairman of SCOPA.
Chair, on that matter, Mr. Zibi is not a full-time member of the committee anymore. He's been replaced as a full-time member by Ms. Webster, who was previously alternate. So she has replaced him. So he's not part of the committee anymore. We'll just correct that, Chair.
Yeah,
Thanks.
if you could just correct the stationery, please.
Not from the same party. I think that's a mistake. Mr. Zibi is from Rise Mzansi, Ms. Webster from Busa.
Yeah.
So they can't replace each other. So which
Chair, it's apologies, Chair. The smaller parties do come together and they indicate where who represents the smaller parties on committees. So that's like Mr. Tring is an alternative member for a smaller party membership. So if any member of the smaller party is not in attendance, Mr. Tring will represent that person and have full rights to voting if the alternate member for the smaller party, the full member for the alternate party is not present in the meeting, Chair.
Okay, so he would have to be removed. The documents was member Chance is then correct. If we show
Yes,
him
Chair.
is like still here, so he needs to be properly replaced with Ms. Webster, who attends the meeting, and then the rest come in. And then in the minutes will then reflect those that are present, those that have apologized, and those that are absent.
Correct, Chair. We'll do so.
Okay, thank you very much. Are we fine, member Chance?
Yes, thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Then over to you.
We need to adopt the agenda, Chair. Move in a second
yes,
for
can I
agenda,
get a
Chair.
move and second agenda?
I'm happy to move for the agenda to be adopted.
Thank you, Mr. Chance. And then Member Msezane, second the move. Thank you very much. I just want to clarify this so that we are certain. I see it's almost 2-hour presentation. How much time do we have? Because that was 2 hours. How much time do we have of engagement? If you can guide us, you can present for 2 hours.
No, Chair, we won't. It won't be so long, Chair. If I may, Chair, we've received inputs from the ANC, not any other party, Chair. So we will present the ANC's document, and we've proposed some changes to the document for consideration, Chair. If I can request Margot to flag that document, Chair.
Okay, over to the we're giving you an hour, so an hour to it.
No problem, Chair.
Okay.
Mr. Mazani, raise his hand, Chair.
No, it's a historic hand.
Okay, historic hand. Okay. No.
It's a new hand, Chair.
Initial report, or we just go straight to the recommendations.
Come again, Chair.
Are you not presenting the whole report? You go straight to the recommendation.
Yeah, Chair, we can recommend that we present the whole report in its totality. I would assume members have read it, and through you, Chair, I was going to request: do we just focus on the concluding remarks, or do we take the members through the report in itself, Chair?
Yeah, I think if you just high level, you can spend minutes on the record, and then spend a lot of time in the recommendation so that we don't take it for granted, because members have been busy with okay, thank you.
No problem, Chair. If Margaret, if you can just flag the report, Chair, and we'll take the members through quickly. Chair, we are considering the budget review and the recommendation report of the committee. There is the introduction, Chair, which outlines the mandate. We will, after conclusion of this discussion, we'll just add introduction for your consideration, Chair, and we'll submit it to the broader committee on Friday, Chair. If you go down, Margot, Chair, point 1 just reflects the mandate of the committee and in terms of Section 5 of the Money Bills Amendment Act. 1.2 outlines the purpose of the BRRR report, Chair, in terms of the annual financial and non-financial performance of the DTIC of the previous financial year. The method that the committee utilized in looking at the annual report, we engaged with the AG on the 8th of October, as well as with the DTIC on the 8th of October on the annual report, Chair. There is some limitations to the report, Chair. The BRRR report is needed to cover 18-month period, but what we have is not an 18-month period, Chair. Then 1.5 outline the content of the report, Chair, as members would have seen. Section 2 provides a summary of key financial and non-financial performance and recommendation of the committee as captured in the BRRR report. Section 3 sets out key policy focus area for the DTIC. This includes an overview of strategic objectives and mandate. Section 4 provides an assessment of the DTIC's financial and non-financial performance against its budgeted allocation from 1st April 2023 to 31st of March 2024, as well as its audit findings and human resource management for the period ending 31st of March 2024. Section 5 considered the financial and non-financial performance of the DTIC for the period ending 30 June 2024. Then Section 4 outlines key issues raised by the committee during deliberations with the department. Section 7 provides the committee's concluding remarks, followed by a note of appreciation. Section 9 then concludes with the committee's recommendation for the National Assembly's consideration and approval. Section 2's indicated, Chair, provides a summary of the previous key financial and performance recommendations of the committee. In 2023, committee recommended that the House request the Minister to consider the cost of poultry feed and ascertain whether there is an anti-competitive behavior in the poultry feed sector. Then, Chair, we're also required to include the recommendation of the budget vote of 2023, which is the Minister should engage with the relevant ministries in conjunction with the private sector and organized labor to consider skills development strategy to promote and enhance its current industrialization drive and report to the National Assembly within 6 months of the adoption of the report. It should establish a coordinating structure that includes the relevant government departments and public entities to address blockages to industrialization, such as transportation, logistics, high administered prices, and energy supply, and report to the NA. The Minister should also consider the viability of designating special economic zone for film and television industry and report to the NA within 6 months of adoption of the report. It should also develop specific key performance indicators or output targets regarding the creation of new business enterprises. If you go down, Chair. Section 3 of the report provides an overview of the key relevant policy focus areas that's standard for the DTIC. We go down. And then it's captured below, Chair. I don't think I want to read all through. Then Section 4 gives an overview of an assessment of financial and non-financial performance for the period 1st April 2023. That is, this section is produced by our researcher, Ms. Kwanda Madalani. She deals with non-financial performance. Go down. And each program, she will do analysis of each program of the DTIC as captured there, Chair. Yeah, so there's a financial performance also included and deals with environments. All those matters is captured in the analysis prepared by the researcher. We will assume members have gone through that in assessment. Then it provides an overview and assessment of financial and non-financial performance for the period up to from the 1st of April to the 31st of June. That's the first quarter financial and non-financial performance report of the DTIC. And it gives analysis of that. It's captured in that section, Chair. Then, Chair, we go to the points of the issues that were raised during the deliberations of the committee, Chair. Chair, you want me to read each of these points, or we just highlight the issues that is there, Chair?
I put it in that slide so that remember we're also trying to refresh members. You can
No problem.
so
So I
that
shall read through.
when we should also be clear. We don't start and the cast. That's
Chair,
why I
you
just
break.
need to have like you've been doing.
Chair, you're breaking up. I can't hear you clearly, Chair. Shall I just do a high level or just read through the whole thingy, Chair?
No, 211.
Okay, thanks. No problem, Chair. Chair, on transformation, the issue of transformation has been raised throughout the committee's engagement since the new Parliament, Chair, and the issue has been addressed. The committee inquired how DTIC will ensure transformation will be mainstream and integral throughout the DTIC. The DTIC responded to the question in the meeting and informed the committee that they acknowledged the importance of mainstream transformation and making transformation at the center of its progress going forward. There's also, so in particular, mainstream transformation at the intersection of geographic locations and economic interventions is critical towards fostering inclusive and sustainable growth. They're targeting trade intervention to specific localities to ensure that it reaches the historically marginalized and underdeveloped, thereby creating more balanced regional development. The DTIC speaks about integrating transformation in every phase of development and fostering collaboration between the NEF and IDC. It also informed committee that is focusing on transformation within the incentive space, ensuring that previous disadvantaged groups have ownership and participation in projects with the supplier development requirement as part of the incentives. This matter is supported by the Minister, who argues that it should be central and an integral part of the DTIC's work and not relegated to a single branch of function. Then the next issue that was raised by members was the membership to international bodies. Members asked whether it should be considered. DTI's view it's important that South Africa maintain its membership to these bodies because in some cases South Africa becomes the voice for the developing world in these institutions. Then the following issue was the support for startups. This is in relation to the issues that were raised when we had the presentation and also during the meeting, and the challenges facing startups in relation to intellectual property. The Deputy Minister then addresses those concerns and acknowledges that there is a challenge with the commercialization of IP, and they seek to address that in collaboration with CIPC and the CSIR. Then there was an issue with the price preference system, which was designed to prioritize availability of scrap metal for domestic industry. And there was an understanding that if matters are resolved, then the PP system will be removed. That the Commission explained gave a response to the committee in that regard, which is captured in the report, Chair. If you go down. Then on economic diplomacy, the committee was stressed the importance of economic diplomacy, especially in relation to the implementation of the African Continental Free Trade Area, and also raised concern about potential challenges between countries on the African continent and how we should avoid any challenges in that regard. The Minister has indicated that have established a commission to address the challenges between Nigeria and South Africa, so that doesn't compromise the implementation of the African Continental Free Trade Area, and also its relations with other major economies on the African continent like Egypt and Kenya in itself. Then the other issue that was raised was on the issue of the trade days, attaches and invoice. There was a acknowledgement that the absence of trade in the trade days and attaches and invoice in our foreign missions presents a challenge, as they act as a link between South African producers and foreign buyers and can help businesses navigating market complexities, regulations, and consumer preference. The committee inquired about the limited foreign economic presentation and how it impacts on South Africa's ability to effectively promote its economic presence and influence internationally, and the measures by the DTIC to address this. The Deputy Minister acknowledges the challenges and that they're currently engaging with DIRCO to address this anomaly, and also Treasury recognize that the miscalculation of not having attaches and trade people in the mission. So the issue is getting the necessary attention to address those, Chair, in terms of the response from the department. Then on export of manufactured goods, the committee could raise the issue regarding the nature of manufacturing exports and how they align with South Africa's broad economic goals of value addition, beneficiation, and industrialization. DTI responded to those issues, Chair, as captured in red. If we go down. Then the export councils. Committee wanted to know the role of the export councils and whether it should not inquire about the rationale for the export councils only being responsible for a small fraction of total exports, and whether South Africa shouldn't consider establishing export councils in all sectors if they contribute to economic stimulation. The TTS explained that export councils were established by a group of companies that registered as a non-profit company representing developmental and promotional objectives of a particular industry. And the DT is open to receiving new applications for funding from groups of companies that register such non-profit organization in additional export-oriented sectors subject to budgetary availability. If you go down. Then with regard to incentives, I mean, the committee is aware that a large portion of DTI's annual budget is directed towards incentives. It inquired whether DTIC could provide it with the names of incentive beneficiaries and the sectors they represent. The DTIC submitted the response in the red, Chair. And I would assume members have gone through the detailed response in that regard. The issue of market concentration has been a constant concern for the committee. They inquired whether the Competition Commission should initiate an investigations into whether budget airline industry was using potentially anti-competitive practices and exploring regulatory adjustments to ensure that domestic air travel is affordable and accessible. The Minister acknowledged these concerns, and he concurred that with the committee that could be a starting point for the Competition Commission to tackle broader competition concerns in the airline sector. With regard to electric vehicles, it presents opportunity for South Africa government to lead an electric vehicle transition. However, it requires strategic shift to actively participate in the development of the EV supply chain. The committee inquired whether DTSA considered any measures that would promote the development of downstream opportunities for the EV supply chain, thereby increasing local capabilities, ensuring that job creation is sustained, and promoting economic transformation within the industry. The DTI provided a detailed response to that question that they published.
In red, if you can just change this.
Do you want me to go through the red, Chair?
No, I'm just, there's a typo. Something eyes. I assume it was me.
We'll fix it, Chair. Thanks.
Yeah, it says in red. No problem.
Thanks, Chair. If we go down, Chair, like I said, DTI provided a comprehensive response to that question. Then the impact of the containment measures. If you go up, Margo. Committee was concerned that the impact on deliberately providing cost-contained measures such as not filling vacancies in its budget. It noted the potential issue when unspent funds due to cost-saving measures were not aligned with the department's performance targets. And the committee raised these issues, and the Deputy Minister Kotlimpi provided a substantive response to these issues, and which is captured in 6.12. Vacant position. This is a matter that has been raised by the committee throughout its engagements with entities, and it's concerned about potential for negative audit due to long-standing vacant posts and the impact on affected programs. The committee inquired whether DT has had any engagement with the National Treasury and Department of Public Service and Administration regarding unfulfilled posts. The DTIC responded to these questions and has provided out a detailed response to that issue that was raised, Chair. It's captured. With regard to planned targets, the committee raised concerns about how realistic the planned targets were and the performance of DTIC against the planned targets. The DTIC indicated that it will be tabling a revised APP that took the committee's concern into consideration. The delay in the tabling of the annual reports, the committee noted the delayed tabling of the reports of the ECIC and NLC, and I think at the Competition Commission as well, which was not in compliance with the prescript of the PFMA. That's an addition that we need to make. And the DTIC responded to that, Chair. Regarding the underperformance of entities, the committee highlighted the consistent underperformance of specifically SABS and the NLC, and what what the DTIC is doing to address these challenges. They provide a detailed response to us in the red as well. Then the targeted threshold, the committee, just go up, Margot. The committee raised an important issue about the sustainability of public entity, particularly in the context of budget. The targeted, yeah. The committee raised concerns that DTI 69% target threshold was too low given the investment in and capabilities of entities, and they responded in detail to that question. Then with regard to sustainability of public entities, the committee raised the important issue about the sustainability of public entities, particularly in the context of budget constraints, the ability to reinvest in technology and filling of vacancies, and commercialization of operations to ensure long-term viability without over-relying on government transfers or creating an additional burden on the state. The committee asked whether DTIC had any plans that would ensure the sustainability of these entities, and whether consideration should be given to commercialization of some of the activities to ensure their sustainability. The Minister, in response, acknowledged the concerns, and he informed the committee that these matters being closely examined, and particularly within the context of broad economic function and standards. And he further expounded that these entities is in need for recapitalization and alternative financing mechanism for several entities, stressing that some may benefit from user-driven funding through fees. However, he was of the view that implementing such a fee would require careful consideration to avoid pricing users out of the market while ensuring the sustainability of these entities. Then with regard to funding of consumer protection bodies, during its oversight, the entities have noted that the underfunding of specifically the consumer protection bodies, and the DTCI also provide a detailed response on how it could potentially be addressed. The Minister welcomed the proposal to utilize proceeds of the NLC not the NLC, from the National Lottery for the use for the public good. So that matter is being given consideration. Then on the mandate of the IDC, the mandate has been an issue that has been raised by members, and they were of the view that the IDC has diverged from its original mandate, namely supporting industrial development and economic transformation. The DTIC has given a response to that, Chair, and they, at the end of that sentence, according to the we go down, Margot? Further down? That it is intended to put back to focusing on its transformation mandate, ensuring that the IDC aligns closely with its original mandate going forward. The role of the Competition Tribunal, the focus of the role of entities and their specific contribution to the broader economic goals. That issue has also been addressed by the DTIC in its response. Chair, the next section is the conclusions. And as I indicated earlier, we only received concluding remarks from the ANC. And I saw Mr. Sizani in the group indicated that the MK party will still submit its concluding remarks. Chair, shall I go through the proposed concluding remarks of the ANC and the proposed changes that the Secretariat is making in relation to that, Chair?
Yes.
Okay. Chair, the ANC submitted their proposal. As you can see, in the top part is the proposal made by the ANC, and we've just reworked it, Chair. Shall I read the reworked one and whether the ANC is okay with the way we reworked it, Chair?
No, if you read everything, which level, so this one party like did with the rest. So we read and then we take each other through with all of them.
Okay, so Chair, you're very uncertain. So I'll read exactly what the ANC said, and I'll read the reworked version. Is that correct? Okay.
That's perfect.
No problem. The committee was of the view that transformation should be at the core of all the department's programs and works of its entities. Transformation should occur at two levels, namely industrial transformation and structural transformation through change in demographic of ownership, management and control. This would ensure that transformation is mainstream across all levels of policy, practice, project approval and empowerment. Chair, the Secretariat proposed the following change. It captures the essence of everything, but we put it like this. Committee was of the view that transformation should occur at two levels, namely industrial transformation and structural transformation through change in the demographic of ownership, management and control. To facilitate this, transformation should be at the core of all the department's programs and work of its entities. This would ensure that transformation is mainstream across all levels of policy, practice, project approval, and empowerment.
Okay, I'll ask those members to make, especially on the comments that a member and then other members can also contribute, so that we can see how we can take. They will just make note and we will afterwards, after you read of them. And proceed.
I'll proceed, Chair. On page 2, the ANC submitted, state procurement must be an important tool for redistribution of wealth and inclusive economic transformation in the country. Preference must also be given in procurement to local manufactured products. There should also be set aside for designated groups, such as women and people with disability. I'll read the Secretariat. The committee emphasized the importance of state procurement as a tool for the redistribution of wealth and inclusive economic transformation in the country. Further, precedence should also be given to locally manufactured products in the procurement process. They should also be set aside for designated groups such as women, youth, and people with disabilities. Mr. Chance raised his hand, Chair.
Thank you, Andre. Yes, thank you, Chair. I just want to insert a clause into this paragraph, if I may. where it says further preference should also be given to locally manufactured goods in the procurement process. There should also be set aside to designated groups such as women, people with disabilities. And then I think that you should add, please, just for the consideration of the committee, consideration should also be given to cost competitiveness when making procurement decisions. Cost competitiveness. In other words, what I'm saying is that we can't just discount the cost effectiveness of these procurement decisions. We have to, in terms of the PFMA, the PFMA makes it quite clear that cost competitiveness is an issue, and I think we just need to make a note of that in this report.
Okay, we'll deliberate.
Thank you, Chair. Shall I proceed?
Yes, we proceed.
Okay. The proposal from the ANC, the committee recognized the need for the coordination between macroeconomic policy and industrial policy, as macro policy should be subordinate to the implementation of industrial policy to ensure economic growth. Chair, we just took yesterday's position and put it down there. The committee recognized the need for coordination between macro policy and industrial policy, as industrial policy should be given primacy when developing macroeconomic policy to ensure economic growth and job creation. I don't know if Ms. Chance is a new hand or old hand, Chair.
Oh, sorry. No, I'll lower my hand.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thanks.
we've taken that. We'll be fine.
Okay. So now go to point 4, Chair. ANC proposed there's a need for the transformation of the financial sector, which is not aligned to investment in productive sectors of the economy, while easily lending for consumption. A market inquiry needs to be conducted into the financial sector. This is how the Secretary captured it, Chair. The committee was concerned that the financial sector was more prone to lending for consumption-driven expenditure rather than for productive purposes. Therefore, it stressed the need for the realignment of financing practices by the financial sector to invest more in the productive sector of the economy to facilitate transformation within the economy. It called for market inquiry into the conduct of the financial sector. Chair, point 5, we proposed no changes, but I'll read it. The committee emphasized the importance of economic diplomacy in achieving South Africa's national interest. It encouraged the DTIC, in conjunction with the Department of International Relations and Cooperation, to strengthen ties with key African countries such as Nigeria, Egypt, and Kenya, especially in the context of the African Continental Free Trade Area. In this regard, it welcomed the binational commission between South Africa and Nigeria as a vehicle to address any challenges of concern in relation to finalizing the AFCFTA protocols. Go down. Given the importance of economic diplomacy and the role that the foreign economic officers can play to promote South Africa's exports, and South Africa as an investment destination, the committee was concerned by the number of vacancies within these offices, particularly in strategic countries' regions. While acknowledging key constraints in relation to staffing of all trade missions, there is a need to prioritize these strategic countries' regions as they are central to South Africa's economic interests. However, it welcomed the engagement between DTIC, DIRCO, and National Treasury to address these challenges. 7. The committee recognized the important role that startups can play in socio-economic development and the exports of services and value-added products. However, there is a need to address regulatory and other barriers faced by these businesses, particularly in attracting and accessing venture capital fund and foreign highly skilled workers, as well as effectively protecting and commercializing their intellectual property. Number 8. The committee re-emphasized the need to shift from the dominance of exports of raw materials to export larger volumes of high-value, technologically advanced manufactured goods. Beneficiation needs to occur in the country rather than merely the export of raw materials. The DTIC need to ensure that it actively pursues a policy which favors beneficiation over exports of raw materials. Currently, taxation is lower for the export of raw materials rather than manufactured goods, which is an anomaly that requires to be corrected. A two-tier taxation system needs to be developed, which is lower for beneficiation and higher for the exports of raw material that favors local manufacturing. Notwithstanding the improving share of value-added export, there is a need to accelerate the export of manufactured goods to address job creation and stimulate economic growth. Chair, the Secretariat may propose a few changes. The committee re-emphasized the need to shift from the dominance of export of raw materials to export larger volumes of high-value, technologically advanced manufactured goods. In this regard, beneficiation of its mineral resources should be prioritized over the export of raw materials. Government should ensure that it actively pursue a holistic policy which supports this. Currently, freight and port charges are lower for the export of raw materials rather than manufactured goods, which is an anomaly that requires to be corrected. A two-tier freight and port charge system should be developed, which is lower for beneficiation and higher for the export of raw materials that favors local manufacturing. Notwithstanding the improving share of value-added export, there is a need to accelerate the export of manufactured goods to address job creation and stimulate economic activity and stimulate economic growth. Chair, Mr. Chance raises his hand, Chair.
It's time.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, I just want to caution us against taxation that would reduce the competitiveness of our raw material exports. I totally agree with the sentiment that we need to stimulate export of raw material of manufactured goods, but we do not want to make our current exports less competitive. I think that the emphasis must be on making our transport and logistics systems more competitive and reduce the costs so that we don't need to impose duties for any raw materials or any export goods. So I think that I would like to see a shift in the emphasis of this paragraph, that we encourage our logistics and transport systems, particularly rail and port infrastructure, to become more internationally competitive, so as to reduce the need for duties to be paid by any export goods. I don't know whether the committee agrees with that, but basically, if you look at Durban and Cape Town, they are in the top 1% of inefficient and incompetent ports in the world. So my feeling is that that's where the emphasis should be, while still encouraging exports of manufactured goods.
I think member Lufefe.
No, thanks, Chair. No, I think, Chair,
not sure. I didn't hear you clearly, Chair. Is Member Tring
Yes.
here?
Oh, sorry, Member Tring. You can come. You can allow Member Lufefe from the ANC that proposal. You'll come back.
So you're saying I must come in after the ANC because you're breaking up, Chair. I've really
you are
been
breaking, Chair. I
hear
can't hear you properly.
Yeah.
Apologies. I'm saying come after the ANC.
Okay. I'll come in after the.
Yes.
I'll come in after. That's fine. Thank you, Chair.
No, Chair, I guess the point was raised around the common understanding that we've been having around wanting to beneficiate our mineral resources and to create local capacity and protect the industry locally against a competition that is not fair in relation to the issue of beneficiation. And I think the point that we're raising here, Chair, is that you need to create instruments to encourage local beneficiation and discourage the extraction of our raw minerals. And practically speaking, Chair, those instruments are, in a sense, would have to be the issue of tax tariffs, so to speak. Of course, the issue of competitiveness, Chair, is not a the issue of tax is not a counter argument to the issue of ensuring that there's competitiveness. But you can achieve both to ensure that there's efficiency and competitiveness, but also to create instruments to ensure that you encourage the beneficiation of these minerals locally. So I don't think that it's a counter argument, Chair. We can make that addition that as we create these issues, the instruments of tariffs, but we should also ensure that there's competitiveness, international competitiveness of our export raw minerals, so that these things, in fact, Chair, should go hand in hand, because as you are beneficiating locally, but you must ensure that what you beneficiate locally, also there's efficiency in exporting it into global markets, and you are able to ensure that you do it in a very competitive way. So I think that, in a sense, the issue of creating tariffs and encouraging local beneficiation is not a counter argument of competitiveness and efficiency. I think they go hand in
Thank
hand,
you.
and I think that emphasis must just be made in the input.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Catherine?
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I think it's common knowledge that I have championed the cause of beneficiation throughout the previous administration, and will continue to do that. I think that the recommendation that comes forward is a step in the right direction. I certainly do not think that what we should be doing is lowering the freight and port charges for the export of raw materials, which would again discourage beneficiation and encourage the export of our raw materials. Bearing in mind that the former colonialists set up financial systems internationally to ensure that Africa in particular continues to export its raw materials at a very cheap and a low cost, so as to prop up the economies of the former colonialists. We cannot continue as Africa and South Africa in particular to support the former colonial financial system, which benefits these so-called first nation states to the detriment of Africa also, and South Africa in particular, bearing in mind that South Africa currently is the largest exporter of raw materials on the continent. We have to change the trajectory where we are exporters of raw materials and a consumerist nation where we consume much of that which is imported from, in particular, your developed economies. And I think that the recommendation as it currently is one that should not necessarily be changed. I think we do need to look at the effect also, and we must ensure that we do not impact our export market. But I also do not think that it needs to come at the expense of developing our own economy and the trajectory towards industrialization. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much.
Chair, we have the hands of Mr. Mkutu and Mr. Gigaba, Chair, and Mr. Chance again.
Mr. King will come after Mr. Cezanne. And then Chance will come last because he has made a point and there's a counter argument on his point, so he will come last.
Sure, Chair. No, my hand is not up, Chair. I just submitted our recommendations and closing remarks as the MK. I sent it to the Secretary, Andre.
Okay. Mr.
Thank you, Chair. I think the issue with this point is that the argument which has been raised is that it seeks to align the argument we've been making, because it would not make sense for us to support the department's greater focus towards industrialization, to call for beneficiation, but on the other hand, not to support, or on the other hand, to continue supporting the very skewed tariff measures, export tariff measures. So and that's the point why we are making the proposal that we are making here, because it does stand to reason that South Africa has got to take a bold step towards ensuring that its own economy, given the vast natural resources that we have and the possibility for us to develop our country in a manner that ensures that it's inclusive, it's meaningfully inclusive, and that we move it out of the current trap of commodity production and exports, and away from the continued dominance of the minerals energy complex, which has been detrimental to the industrialization of our economy and the development of higher value sectors. It stands to reason that there should be a reconsideration of the export charges that apply as at the present moment. And I think the committee has been trying to even bring on board the roles of state-owned companies that are responsible in these areas. Perhaps one of the things in addition to this that we might want to argue for is the establishment of an integrated economic regulator. Because one of the things which has been raised previously as to why you have the ports regulator, you have various regulators, even in the transport sector. That has also been argued to be partly responsible or greatly responsible for this skewed manner in which we charge the exporters of high value products vis-a-vis the exporters of primary commodities. And so I think what we need to do is, in addition to this, to call for the establishment of an economic regulator who will ensure alignment in our freight and port charges system, so that we don't have a misalignment between our stated objectives and what we do in practice. Thank you.
Members.
Yeah, thanks, Chair. I have heard all the comments, and I'm happy also with the new sentence that has been added. But I accept the point that's been made, and there shouldn't be a conflict between the need to stimulate production of value-added goods and also the reduction of transport costs. So I'm happy with this addition.
Okay, members.
No, thanks, Chair. I just wanted to also submit my sentiments on this particular point that is being debated on beneficiation of raw materials, as pointed out by this recommendation made by the ANC in regard to. Oh, I'll just read it out as it is displayed, as it's highlighted there. Sorry, Chair. In regard to beneficiation of its raw materials should be prioritized over the export of raw materials. Government should ensure that effectively pursues a holistic policy which supports this. Currently, obviously, I will not go through the whole thing, Chair, but I wanted to just also register my support on this particular point. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I think in the spirit of the committee, how to reach consensus on this while we remain principled on things fundamental, I think government members who have really point in the basically that we cannot export raw material as well as exporting jobs.
Chair, I'm sorry, but I'm really struggling to hear anything that you're saying, Chair. Your words are really mumbled. I'm not sure if it's your connection,
I
but
think
it's going to be difficult. It's going to be very difficult, Chair, hearing you, because or even trying to understand. I'm really struggling, Chair.
I've tried my connectivity, very, very bad. It's better now. I've been moving all over the house, so I wish I had gone to Parliament.
It's slightly better, Chair.
Okay.
Where you are now.
Okay. I was making this point that the member Nkutu and member Kika have re-emphasized the point about the importance of ensuring that we just don't continue exporting raw materials as a consequence, exporting jobs when we can domesticate these jobs through beneficiation. I think issue of charges and so on, separate proposals that have been made so that we don't dilute this particular point that has been made. So I think we should carry the version of the Secretariat, and then we'll take into account others that have been raised. Is that fine? Because everyone is okay now.
Yeah, that's fine, I think, yeah.
Thank you. Can move to the next one.
I'll move to the next item, Chair. Point 9. I'll read the proposal from the ANC and the Secretariat right of that. The ANC submitted the development of new industrial sectors such as the local film industry is critical for increasing economic activity and job creation. We just rephrase it, Chair. The committee was of the view that the development of new industrial sectors such as the local film industry is critical for increasing local economic activity and job creation in support of transformation.
And
Chair, shall I proceed, Chair, with 10?
Yes.
The committee acknowledged the role that Export Council could play in facilitating growth in export. It urged the DTIC to encourage the establishment of export councils in other sectors that are currently not represented to facilitate exports in these sectors. 11. While the committee recognized the suite of incentives offered by the DTIC, it remained concerned about the relative allocation of incentives across sectors. 12. The committee recognized the opportunities created by the advent of the transition to electric vehicles to localize the production thereof and to harness value chains for the industry. It cautioned the DTIC that it should ensure that the development of industries supporting electric vehicles should be utilized to advance transformation.
Can I add?
Chair, you're breaking up again, Chair.
Okay, I'm saying, can I add something on the
EVs? You may, Chair.
Yes, yes. I want to propose on point of to add following. The committee is in ensuring that country build capability and fully participate in the downstream industry to support the development and growth in the EV sector. These include, but not to the doing opportunities there is. Budgetary.
Chair, may I suggest, Chair, because we can't hear you clearly, if you can't put that in writing in the chat, Chair, then we can then read it to the committee, if that is in order.
Okay. Just 1 second to do it. Sorry. My network is really, I'm very struggling here, but make the best. Okay, if you can read, I'll just send it to you.
Okay, Chair, I'll read it, Chair, to the committee. Just give me a sec. The committee is interested in ensuring that the country, okay, we'll microphone, that the country build capabilities and fully participate in downstream industry to support the development and growth in the EV sector. These will include, but not be limited to, the following opportunities: battery storage, charging infrastructure, components, parts manufacturing, electric vehicle maintenance and repair capabilities, smart grid integration, fleet electrification capabilities, amongst others. Chair, I've read it into, and we will make the necessary language grammar changes if that's in order.
Yeah, I was
No
typing so
problem.
that
Yeah,
I don't
so
lose this
far.
point.
No problem, Chair.
Okay.
So I shall proceed with 13, Chair. While the committee acknowledged the need for the government to be fiscally responsible, it was of the view that cost containment measures should not be at the expense of job creation and economic development. The stimulation of the economy is critical to enable the state to address its fiscal constraints. Hence, budgeting should be strategically undertaken to balance the socio-economic needs of the country. 14. The committee stressed that the impact of key vacant positions at the DTIC on its stability and effectively fulfilling its mandate should not be underestimated. In particular, it was concerned about the vacancies of the Director General and several of the Deputy Director Generals. In addition, it was concerned that the position for the Deputy Director General for Departmental Operations has not been approved by the Department of Public Service and Administration. Furthermore, 15. Furthermore, 15, Margot. It remained concerned by vacancies at some entities, particularly in terms of leadership positions and executive management positions, as these vacancies affect their stability to stabilize the institution, fulfill their mandates, and affect their audit outcomes. The committee noted that there were relatively large disparities between certain set targets and their actual achievement. This implied that there were challenges with the DTIC's targeting setting process. It encouraged the DTIC to review its target setting process to ensure that it set realistic targets in the future. The committee was concerned about the sustainability of public entities given the ongoing fiscal constraints. In this regard, it encouraged the DTIC to consider alternative financing mechanisms for its entities. Furthermore, it proposed that the DTIC should consider ring-fencing a 20% share of the new lottery operator license to government and use that to capitalize the National Empowerment Fund and consumer protection institutions, namely the National Consumer Commission, the National Credit Regulator, and the National Consumer Tribunal. The committee emphasized the need for the Industrial Development Corporation to revert back to its founding strategic role to support industrial development and economic transformation. The committee highlighted the consistent, this is the proposal of the ANC, entities like the SABs and the NLC, particularly regarding governance issues due to vacant critical posts and unfilled leadership positions. These impact both financial and non-financial performance of these institutions. The Secretariat proposed the following change. The committee was concerned about the governance issues due to unfilled leadership position and vacant critical senior management posts at certain entities such as the SABs. It also noted governance issues at the NLC. These issues may impact both financial and non-financial performance of these institutions. 20. The committee felt that it's important to ensure that the DTC...
One second.
No problem.
The governance issues, unless we cover across all the institutions, not just NLC and the SABS was on specific issue. So I just wanted to don't lose that point.
Margaret, do you hear what the chair is saying? Yeah. Does it address your issue, your concern, Chair?
Yeah, you read it now because I can't see. It's very,
Yeah.
very small.
It's across all entities, as you indicated, not only NLC and SABS, Chair, and we captured that.
Thank you.
Yeah, just I'll repeat 20. The committee felt that it's important to ensure that the DTIC has adequate oversight over the functioning of its entities. There's a need for DTIC to develop a proper governance and oversight framework for its entities. We just express it as follows. The committee expressed the view that it was important that the DTIC has adequate oversight over the functioning of its entities. There is a need for the DTIC to develop an appropriate governance and oversight framework for its entities, including a continued engagement with the Department of Public Service and Administrations regarding the position of Deputy Director General for Departmental Operations. Go down, Margot. 21. The committee noted the late tabling of annual reports of the EIC and the NLC, which was not in compliance with the prescripts of the PFMA, and requests that the DTIC ensure that this does not repeat itself in the future. These are two entities whose external audits were not concluded at the time of compiling the BRRRR report, namely SAB and the NRCS, and is therefore imperative that the DTI ensures that these audits are timelessly completed. Chair, we combined the two and we proposed this for the committee's consideration, Chair. The committee noted that the Competition Commission, the ECIC, and the NLC had not tabled the annual reports by the deadline of 30 September 2024, which was not in compliance with the prescripts of the PFMA. It was still awaiting the tabling of these annual reports. It urged the DTIC and the affected entities to conclude these reports and table them expeditiously. Furthermore, it requested the DTIC to implement measures to ensure that its entities comply with the tabling requirements in future.
Across all
Chair,
institutions.
come again, Chair?
You can say that all the TIC and the parent company, because we just don't want to be repeating what emphasize that point. I'm happy with what we've done.
Okay, no problem, Chair. Thanks. Chair, those are the submissions of the ANC. As Mr. Sizani has indicated, he submitted inputs for consideration. Chair, I've not seen it because I was busy on the platform. So, Chair, with regard to the Chair, these are the proposals from the DA that we captured yesterday. Also,
Yes.
shall I read them, Chair?
Yes.
The committee recognized the important role that startups can play in socio-economic development and the export of services and value-added products. However, there is a need to address regulatory and other barriers faced by these businesses, particularly in attracting and assessing venture capital fund and foreign highly skilled workers, as well as effectively protecting and commercializing the intellectual property. The committee was of the view that the current approach to industrial parks was not yielding the desired socio-economic outcomes. Therefore, it urged the DTIC, together with the relevant national and provincial departments, as well as local government where they are located, to conduct a comprehensive review of industrial parks. Judges also determine the economic viability and or potential of each industrial parks to economically contribute to the surrounding communities and recommend possible investment decision in this regard. If you go down, Margot, I don't know if Mr. Chance wants to speak before we go to the recommendation.
Yes, if I may, please. I just want to say that paragraph 1 is covered already in the ANC submission. Paragraph 2, I think I would like that to be included, please, in the BRRR, because that wasn't included in the ANC submission.
That's fine. Can you just read? I think I was going to suggest such a. Can you just read the paragraph 2?
I'll repeat it, Chair. The committee was of the view that the current approach to industrial park was not yielding the desired socio-economic outcomes. Therefore, it urged the DTIC together with the relevant national and provincial departments, as well as local governments where they are located, to conduct a comprehensive review of industrial parks. This should also determine the economic viability and or potential of each industrial park to economically contribute to their surrounding communities and recommend possible investment decision in this regard.
Okay. Discussion.
Shall I proceed with the recommendation proposed, Chair, in regarding that we move from yesterday's fourth quarter? Informed by its deliberation, the committee recommend that the House request that the Minister of Trade and Industry and Competition should consider engaging with other relevant departments to develop a policy to promote and support the development of startup businesses, particularly in relation to access to venture capital funding, intellectual property protection, and visas for highly skilled workers. Shall I proceed with the BRRR proposal for BRRR, Chair?
Yes, proceed.
Chair, here is BRRR's proposal for BRRR. The committee was of the view that there is an urgent need to address the governance issues it had identified in some of the DTIC's entities. It further noted the challenges with the sub-audit outcomes. It therefore emphasized that DTIC should work with entities to ensure that these issues are resolved.
Yes, I think that point is covered somewhere. If
Also
there's
covered,
any...
yes, Chair, yes. Within
Okay.
the ANC's, yeah. Chair, we have received, as indicated earlier, only this morning while we're in the meeting, the inputs from the MK Party Chair. We had not have sight of it or anything. Chair, may I make a proposal, Chair, if through you, Chair?
Yes, please.
Chair, I'm proposing that the Secretariat is given the opportunity to go through these concluding remarks, Chair, and then forward forward a copy thereof to members for consideration, because I don't think we'll be able to do it now as we're in the meeting. And then just for the meeting to indicate whether the proposals that we've made to the ANC's submission, if that's in order, Chair. Then, if that is okay, Chair, then we will then look at the draft of the MK Party, reworked it where necessary, Chair, and distribute it this afternoon to all members, so that when we can come back on Friday, members will have the full list of inputs from all parties, and then formally adopt the report, Chair, if that's in order.
That's that. If they would want remarks, we give a deadline to everyone, and then we then able to process them as per your proposal. Can we check other parts? 3? Would you like to make any concluding remarks?
Chair, did you call my name, Chair? Chair, did you call my name?
Yes, I did call your name. I wanted
Okay,
to check
sorry,
if
I'm
you want
still struggling. No, Chair, I think I'm fine. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Any other party we're leaving out? Members would like. I think your youth party has submitted. You should be fine. Member Mdluli, your is submitted. Member Fair, your party. If anyone will be leaving out, I think we passed all the ideas, and we subject to last part of KP, then get a move and conduct the report as well as the amended recommendation, with an understanding that the MKP and those that are not covered will also be incorporated after the discussion on Friday.
Yes, Chair.
Chair. Yes.
Chair, just want to be clear, Chair. So we have a move and a second for the proposal I've put before. Is that the case, Chair? Because we can't hear you clearly, so I don't want to misrepresent in the minutes going forward.
Yeah,
it's still bad, Chair.
I don't. Can we get a
Chair,
mover and second?
I move that we adopt the proposal.
Thank you. Any seconder? Mr. Chance, move.
I second, Chair.
Ms. Yati, Chair.
Miss Siat, the report is duly adopted, and then we will get.
Chair, the proposal is adopted, not the report in itself, Chair, because we'll do the formal adoption on Friday, Chair.
Okay.
Yeah. So the proposal was that we give an opportunity to look at the MK input, put it together for members and submit it to members this afternoon so that members can look at it, and then we come back on Friday morning at 8:30 to formally consider the report in its totality, which is inclusive of because members didn't see the input that MK made yet, Chair. So we need to look at the input that they've made, and we'll put that together for members by this afternoon, Chair. If that was the proposal.
No, we are adopting the report and recommendation and subject to that input was just one aspect of me. So that Friday we just consider and adopt the level to have come from the KP input. I don't
Okay,
have to
no
delay.
problem.
Yeah.
No problem. I hear you, Chair, in terms of the process.
When are we formally this now to Parliament?
Chair, once we adopt the formally adopted on Friday, we'll submit it to the ATC. Then the Programming Committee will schedule debate on it, Chair. Then it falls out of our hands. It becomes a Programming Committee issue when they schedule debate, Chair.
Okay. So timeline by Friday, everything conclusive.
Chair, we scheduled to meet on Friday at 8:30, Chair. So we will formally consider it on Friday. Then we will submit it for publication on Friday.
Okay. That is the issue outstanding.
No, there's no matter outstanding, Chair. We've done the business for today, Chair.
Thank you very much, Mr.
Thank you, Chair. Margaret, stop recording.
Recording stopped.